Yeah, see, it's revised. I don't have a revised one.
Okay, we are returning from recess. 10 o'clock, public comment
Ten
airing
o'clock,
on
yes.
10 minutes. Any public comment?
We're not gonna pledge allegiance.
We already started the meeting at 9 this morning, so we've already done that.
Why
We
didn't you give us
recessed.
advertisement of that?
It was advertised properly per Montana state law. This was a revised agenda that was put out. It was posted in 3 public places, and it was at the request of the Department of Revenue. They did not let us know last Monday, and for us to have not been able to accommodate them today would have put off receiving our evaluations by 2 weeks, but would not have put off our requirement that the clock started today. So in the main interest of the county citizens, we had to add it this morning at 9 o'clock. This was vetted through both commissioners earlier last week, and both said, okay, we followed the process, everything is completely legal.
Don't feel bad, John. I didn't get a revised agenda either, so I wasn't here.
I did.
I've been here since 9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I
Franklin was
said that, yeah.
emailed an agenda, it was posted as per law. We are gonna go ahead and get into our meeting. Any public comment? Public comment, Tim.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Tim Ravendall. It's ironic that one of the things that I continue bringing up is the agenda, and that it happens to be another discussion this morning. I would really urge the commission to take a closer look at clarifying your agenda so that the citizens truly understand what is going on with our local government. This has been brought up multiple times before, and we have not seen any changes really in that. And I would really personally, as a citizen, request that the commission take a really close look at that and make some improvements in having that available for the citizens. On that same note, I would like to make a point that understanding what goes on in the agenda is really the crutch of being able to have the citizens involved in our local government and making sure that we restore the public trust. If we don't start making them moves, we are going to just continue down that same road, and I urge the commission to take a close look at that. Just because it's always been done a certain way doesn't make it right, and we need to be doing better for the citizens. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other public comment? Cheryl?
Madam Chairman, Cheryl Campbell, could we have a recap of what took place at the 9 o'clock meeting, please?
All right, any other public comment? John, did I see your hand up?
Yes, John Wright. I've got several issues to cover. One is the issues of handling these procedures in this commission are not following due process of the law, constitutional law. You're following everything but, number one. Number two is I need to address Dana, which is not here, and I reserve the right to speak to him when he comes over Indian Creek. We got a problem. Secondly and thirdly, if there's any changes on the agenda, I'm going to reserve the balance of my time to address it, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
And one other hand, was that yours, Linda?
Yes, it was, thank you. I'm Linda Huth, and I would like to say that I received a revised agenda. Bill here says he did. If you watch your email, I think you'll see that you'll be receiving those. I have a couple other things I'd like to visit about. On the agenda, I see that there will be a discussion about paying volunteers for the sheriff's department. I think that's what that's about, and it's also scheduled for discussion on Wednesday. I would like to remind you, commissioners, that you were elected to follow the law. And the law says that those people should repay the money, as I understand it. If I'm a county employee, a part-time county employee, if I were overpaid, I would expect to have to pay that back. no matter what the circumstances are or what a hardship it would provide for me. I'd also like you to consider if those employees were underpaid for those volunteers, what would the reaction be then? Would there be a big objection to them not receiving the money they should have received? I worked for the government for 31 years, and there were several times that regrettably we would have to ask for refunds of mistakes we had made and overpayments we had made. Hated to do it, just absolutely was torture, but we did it, and we always received the money back. I just want to remind you that you were elected to uphold the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Laura, can I speak to Dana, or directly
No,
to him?
you may not, John, per Robert's Rules of Order, you may address the chair.
Robert's
If-
Rules of what?
John, that's enough. You know the Robert's Rules of Order that we follow?
No, I don't.
Yes. You may address the chair and only the chair. If you want to speak to Dana, you may do so after the meeting, or you may do so through us.
I want
You
it
may
on the
not do it
record,
to Dana.
not after the record.
All right, any other public comment? Last chance, all right. Next, for Montana Minute. Franklin, you have something good to say about Montana?
It's a good place, that's all I have to say.
All right, Elaine.
Thank you. And I guess, I'm just so grateful that we live where we do. It's green, it's beautiful here, nice, friendly community. And now that football's back on TV, it makes me know that fall's not far behind.
My Montana Minute is a piece of Montana history that I think is something Montanans should be proud of. Montana is the leading state for the Union in a lot of different ways. The most obvious is Jeanette Rankin, the first woman elected to Congress. But most recently, Montana has what's called the Hope Card. And this is used by victims of domestic violence. And instead of having an 8x11 sheet of paper and a file that you may or may not have with you everywhere, and then trying to work through law enforcement when there's a violation of that, Montanans have a Hope Card. It's about the size of a credit card. You put it in your wallet. It has a picture of the person who has a restraining order against that particular victim. And Montana was first with that. It is a capstone for the rest of the nation to be looking at repeating. We also are leading the nation in a variety of different areas of law enforcement, including juvenile issues. There was recently a movie called Cash for Kids, in which the juvenile system completely threw away hundreds of kids because violations committed in school that would, for most of us, result in maybe suspension, landed these kids in juvenile detention facilities, and there was money exchanged to get these kids for these private institutions. We already have legislation against this from 4 or 6 years ago, 2 or 3 sessions ago, that addresses this. Many other states are just now addressing this issue. So we will have a conference next week with the National Criminal Justice Association, and the executive director of the Board of Crime Control is leaving. She took a job in Washington, so as the chairman of the board, I will get to speak to these this leadership that Montana has for the rest of the nation and help other states to implement what we've already adopted. So I think it's great kudos for Montana, and I'm pretty excited. So again, kudos to Montana. Any other Montana minutes to share? Tim?
Madam Chair, Tim Ravendall. I just wanted to bring recognition to our veterans this morning. Here just this last week, we had some patriots from the state of Oregon started a tour on motorcycles carrying a torch for our fallen soldiers across the West, 2,200-mile journey, ending in the Black Hills Monument area with that torch for fallen soldiers. They went through Helena. They were originally going to come through Townsend, but because of our road construction, motorcycles and road construction don't get along real well, so they bypassed and went around through Boulder. But I wanted to bring recognition to those folks that give that service, and especially to our fallen soldiers. in these times of turmoil here in this country and with the national debacle that's going on. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, Bill?
Bill Kearns, I was here this morning earlier and listened to the valuation, and I guess I'm happy that the valuation in Raw County went up $100,000. Remember, we had a court case which I think cost the county $500,000 or something, and we were facing our valuation going down, but because of all the additions in the county, I think we'll end up with an increased valuation, which I think helps all of us. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Couple of things. As far as public comments, responses, the agenda is vetted and has been vetted through a training that Mako had. It's pretty detailed. If anyone wants to know what's going on, they have the information that they need in the agenda. Let's see, no citizen may address a guest because it is wholly unfair to them to be addressed from behind. Let's see, and Linda, you are 100% correct. We are elected to follow the law, and we will continue to do so to the best of our ability. And as for an update on the budget, we did get valuations this morning directly from the Department of Revenue. We were visited by 4 members of the department. And our valuation increased over last year by about $112,000 to $13,158,561. That means a mill will now be worth $13,158.56. The court case that Bill is referring to was a case between a couple of subdivisions and the Department of Revenue. One of those subdivisions was in Broadwater County. It was appealed when district court made their decision to the Montana Supreme Court. The Montana Supreme Court said that any lot that is subdivided that is not sold is actually valued at the lowest A rate. So many of the subdivision lots around the state that fit that description were valued at a lower rate than they had been in the past. So that did affect the valuation for Broadwater County. We are guessing around probably a $300,000 effect over last year and this year. As you'll remember, last year the county was revalued at the very last minute. The day taxes were going to go out, and Department of Revenue has assured us that they've put in steps to ensure that doesn't happen in the future. And that's one of the reasons they came here in person. It's actually largely business development that increased our taxable value. And I think that's it. Any other updates, Elaine?
I think you covered it pretty well.
All right. So, thank you for that. And with that, we will take care of our minutes. We have the minutes from July 28, 2014, and those were emailed out to each of us earlier last week.
I make a motion that we approve minutes from last week.
We moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 28, 2014. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I think this would fit under public comments. So I'm going to take care of this before we call Dana up, if you don't mind. We got a letter via email that it's requested that we read into the minutes, so we will go ahead and do that. This is from her, Arga Bright, writing on behalf of the Broadwater County Planning Board. Dear County Commissioners, is it true that the Commission has or is about to use a consultant to obtain quotations for county facilities? If it is true, I, as an individual, and the majority of the Planning Board have objections. This would be an unnecessary expense to the county. We have a competent planner to handle this, and local contractors will be more than willing to offer free estimates for the work anticipated. We urge the commissioners to cease any unnecessary expense and utilize our local and inexpensive expertise. We request this be read at the meeting and included in the minutes. Sincerely, H.T. Argabright, President, Broadwater County Planning Board. I did speak to a member of planning, and they were unaware of this letter. So I do not believe that this letter reflects the planning board, however, it is written on their behalf. The planning board has been directly involved with every step of this recent work towards meeting the needs of mosquito, search and rescue, extension, law enforcement, EMTs, weed, search and rescue, mosquito, all of the above. 3 years ago, in 2011, the planning board, working with WWC, put together a capital improvements plan for Broadwater County and City of Townsend joint project. This consisted of a variety of public meetings all over the county, from the southern end to the northern end, from the west to the east, and solicited comments from people on what they wanted to see for their county. It is this plan that we are working to implement. Anybody can take a peek, look at it at any time. There's a copy in the commissioner's office. Furthermore, the personnel policy handbook states, and this applies mostly to employees, but also to volunteers as well, which would include board members. As an integral member of the county team, employees are expected to accept certain responsibilities and adhere to acceptable business practices. This not only involves sincere respect for the rights and feelings of others, but also demands that in public life, employees refrain from any behavior that might be harmful to self, co-workers, and or the county, or which might be viewed unfavorably by the public at large. We also have the Montana Planning Board Members Handbook. This defines what a planning board is for and what planning boards do. And then we have also Montana's 2013 Land Use and Planning Statutes. It's a separate law book just for planning because it's such a big part of what counties do. All of these documents coupled together, especially these two, in nowhere does it say that the planning board is responsible for personnel management, department management, employee motivation, county business operations. Those are all the jobs of the county commission. They are not the jobs of a planning board that meets once every quarter and consists of volunteers. We also have a paragraph from a letter sent a couple weeks ago that says essentially the same thing. This is from Tim Ravadol. Planning board is charged with making recommendations to the commission. To date, I have only heard public discussion from department officials bringing forward their individual wish lists. It is important that before any decisions are made, this process be applied directly to the growth policy, as amended, that would fall directly under the purview of the planning department. Again, the planning department is not responsible for department management or implementation of a document that came from the planning department, which is already a roadmap on how to address our growth and increased needs. So to answer Herb's questions, isn't it true the commission has or is about to use a consultant to obtain quotations for county facilities? No, it is not. Broadwater County has a county planner. This is a PE stamped engineer. His job is to put together a bid package, to get a cost analysis, and to define the project. That's what he's doing. We can't ask any contractor for a bid unless we know what the project is. He is contacting local contractors as a courtesy to get their input, but at no time would a project be put out to bid without having any definition as to what the project is. If it is true, I as an individual and the majority of the planning board have objections. I, again, do not believe that the planning board saw this letter, vetted this letter, or approved of the tactics in which this letter was put to the public. This would be an unnecessary expense to the county. it would be if we were doing it, we are not. We have a competent planner to handle this, and local contractors will be more than willing to offer free estimates for the work anticipated. We would accept no estimates but free. We will never charge somebody to put together an answer to a bid request. That is simply not done. And no, it wouldn't go through the planner, it would go through maintenance. He would be the project supervisor. We have already discussed that in full and in detail. We urge the commissioners to cease any unnecessary expense and utilize our local and inexpensive expertise. Again, we are utilizing the local and inexpensive expertise. We are not addressing any unnecessary expense. In fact, we are actually following an incredibly frugal and fiscally responsible planning process to consider moving forward with this. And then finally, request this be read at the meeting and included in the minutes. We will be including all of this in the minutes. So I think that's about it. So moving ahead, Dana, come on forward. And this is your monthly update.
How was your trip?
That was good.
Welcome back.
Well, it's just getting back. Chatted with TJ a little this morning there. They got those couple cattle guards done that we were, the people bought the cattle guards. We installed one on Ridge Road, one on Eustis Road.
Dana, speak up, I can't hear you.
We ended up putting a culvert in down on Meridian Road that we share with Jefferson County. Jefferson County bought the pipe and we put it in, so. They got that done. Hahn Lane, they got that lower end done from where it was washed out, clear down to the end. They got it all re-gravelled and stuff, so. That's done. Tried to get some mowing done, but I don't know, for some reason the mower isn't working right. And took the little one out this morning out north of town here and blew a belt off that, so they're fixing that right now. And I still gotta run out and look at the one out, our big one out here, so I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, TJ had a couple flash flood calls, I guess, one up Dry Creek and one on Ross Gulch. He went out and looked at them and they're nothing terrible. We had to go get some debris off the road and whatnot, so. Other than that, till I get done looking around here, I guess, I'm kind of in the dark, so. I don't know if you guys have heard anything or not.
The only thing I heard is that Parrot Lane had a couple complaints of Parrot Lane
Oh, yeah, it's pretty, yeah.
and the Tossin Dam Road.
Okay, well, they did Tostin Dam Road before I left,
Okay, well,
2 weeks ago.
must be since, it has to be since then. They just was telling me about it.
The upper part?
They didn't say for sure what part it was, they just said there's parts of it, is what they said. That's real bad, worst part of it.
Okay, well, it's gotta be up above there. I know Willie was up there, just before I left.
That's right, I remember seeing the blade.
And then he
Did
went back and
Johnson-
redid that other
Did
piece too,
Johnson
so.
about that same time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this has to be since then.
Huh, okay.
When you get a chance, you should run up there.
Yeah, I'll go take a look, I guess. See what's going on. Muddy Lane, Ferret Lane, though, it's real good. We gotta wait some of that frost fuse get out of there.
Are they still showing you?
Well, they are, where some of the pipe are, and I don't know why. It's really weird. I've never seen that.
Drives out to you.
Yeah.
There you go, I'll be good.
So, anyway, I gotta go look at it too, but I gotta go out there and look at that mower anyway, so. Take a look at that. I know they did a little grader work down at Three Forks here last week or so too. Not sure what the hell they got done. I know there was a complaint on that Price Road here and there, but I didn't see where it was all that terrible, but I don't know. Got a new resident up top of Gurnett Creek, I guess. DJ had a chat with him, and
Was he looking for more road maintenance?
Well, there's one spot there that, just up above Tom Hoos there, where you're going up through the rocks, that it's 14 feet wide. There's nothing we can do with it unless you blast it, and blast the rock out of the hillside, so, that's the way it's been since I've been here. It hasn't changed, a bit, so, I mean, as far as blasting it out there, I'm not gonna blast it out there, so. That's the way it is. On road, end of the road, so. I guess it'll stay like that for a while.
So many people move here by seeing just pictures of our county,
Like from Florida.
yeah, or California. And they think that we have highways,
Yeah.
interstate highways through all of these hills, and that's not the case.
Yeah. And I actually talked to the realtor that was trying to sell it before the guy even bought it, and told him exactly what went on up there, so,
Which place is this that you bought?
oh, it's that piece of, what's his name? Bridgewater's up there.
Oh.
So, and he's from Florida, I guess, somewhere. So I don't know. He said he'd be back at Christmas time. So TJ told him you might wanna give us a call before he comes back.
Yeah.
So, anyway, other than that, that's about all I got for now, so.
All right. Any further questions for Dana?
No,
Okay.
those two things all I have.
Okay.
I didn't talk to TJ when he was gone that one time. Well, especially about saying does the mail carrier, any questions, stuff, you know. I think TJ took care of them, from the mail carrier.
Yeah, I sent him out there to get that stuff done. In fact, that was, I think Hosfeld Lane, and I know they were
Toma
talking.
Road,
Where?
Toma Road, something like, I think it's from Regisburg out to the Toma Road, maybe.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I know.
And in
Willie
fact,
was-
I think TJ said it was still wet at that time, they couldn't do anything. I think that's what it was on that. But she's supposed to have, the postmaster in town was supposed to have a list of stuff. I don't know if TJ saw it or not.
Well, I know the only ones I got that you talked to me on that time was.
Right.
Hosfeld Lane, and I mean, that was 50 feet. And I know we went out and rebladed that whole road and everything, so.
In fact, I think TJ said that Willie was out there on that, at Regisburg. It's been at least a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just before I left,
Yeah, about the time he left. And, yeah, okay.
so. Yeah, well, like I said, I'll have to look around a little bit and see what's going on for sure. They're working on a little bit of.
Oh, yeah. Are they still crushed, or are they through there at the?
I don't
Three
know,
Forks?
I don't know that yet. I haven't talked to Brandon. you
Yeah.
know, So.
I was just curious.
and
I think
know
at 6 Mile, I wanna go look at their route and see how it works.
What's that?
I said, when they're doing 6 Mile, I have to go up, take a look at it and see how,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it
Well,
works pretty good for a small crusher, doesn't it?
Well, it does, you know, it's taken a little longer than they anticipated, but, I guess, he said they'd get it done. I mean, I actually talked to him and asked him if he was gonna have enough time to get it done. And he said, no, he said, no, we'll get it. He said, we're still trying to figure it out some, but he said they've been working on it. The Lone Mountain stuff looked good, you know, stuff I seen before I left, so. Time consuming, I guess, so.
Got a new feel for them too.
What's that?
New feel for them.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean,
It is.
I don't think they've had experience on it before.
No.
Crushers.
No, they haven't. And Mikey said, he says it's been a learning experience. He was-
Right.
So I think once they get rolling on it, they'll be okay. So, and they ended up buying a new loader and whatnot to feed it and all that too, so. They plan on staying in it, so. Okay?
All right,
Ready?
thank you, Dana.
Yep.
Thanks, Dana.
You bet.
We are a little bit ahead of schedule, so just want to, since we have a buffer between the two subjects. First of all, back to this letter from the planning board, or from the president of the planning board. Instead of following that letter, and again, the tactics used, ask a question. If you don't understand what's going on, ask a question. I'm in the office almost every day. We all three have phones. I have 3 that anyone can get me on. Email, you can communicate with all 3 of us via email. That wasn't done. It should have been. And Herb would have realized he'd been fed extremely erroneous information for whatever purpose. As far as the false accusations he makes in this letter, we've seen that done over and over and over again against employees and now against boards. It's destructive, it's costly, and it's time consuming. It's gotta end. We've got work to do. It doesn't appear that he's actually looking for an answer or clarification by the way this was done. And I don't think we need to now be spreading this division between boards. Planning board needs to be able to get along with the other boards, and every board needs to be able to be working together for the good of the county, just like every employee does. These are not lofty requests. These are the very bare basics, bare bones of requirements from any employee or any board member or any volunteer. So with that being said, I would like to request, and I don't know when it is, but I would like to request the full commission attend the next planning board meeting, see if we can find out what really is the issue, if this does involve the planning board as a whole. I will, if it's agreeable with you to let you know via email when that meeting ends.
That'd be fine.
Okay. All right, I sent an email this morning. I did not get it prior to 9 o'clock.
So, do they meet quarterly is all?
Is all. So meeting quarterly, obviously, they can't step in and do some of the things that they're alluding to wanting to do. I mean, obviously, I don't think, when you look at what it is, that the amount of work that needs to be done, I don't think a single board member is going to say, yes, we want to take on personnel development or department needs on an individual basis. It's not in statute. We'd be the only county doing that. And I think we'd lose every board member for the planning board in probably less than 5 minutes.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got a task. It's a very serious task. Right now they're working on the growth policy, which is of immense importance, as well as that rent-to-lease resolution. They've got a lot on their plate. I don't think that they honestly need to have us adding this kind of stuff as well.
I don't think most of them realize.
No, and I think they were fed some very wrong information. I think it was delivered in such a way to stir the pot, get emotions riled, and I think that's what this letter was. And again, I'm disappointed that there was no attempt to ask us what the question was, no attempt to come to a meeting. They could have been here for that Wednesday meeting where we heard from everybody. This isn't brand new. There's been public hearings, public comment, public meetings, night meetings. And again, it's all bouncing off of the CIP, which was a planning project. So it has me baffled. So I will let you guys know when the next meeting is.
Okay.
All right. And I believe you both have copies of that letter. I think I have forwarded the email. So. All right,
Excuse me,
we
Madam
have,
Chair, before you move on,
we're
can
gonna go
I
ahead
ask you a
and
quick
do some-
question?
No, we're gonna do some mail, just a minute. Is it pertaining to the subject at hand, Tim?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
I just need clarification. Is our planner Nicole or is our planner Sean?
Our planner is Nicole Brown.
Okay, thank you.
It used to be Sean. That job was brought in-house because of substantial county savings to go from that job being contracted to an in-house employee. And this was done about 2 years ago, in 2011. The job of county engineer and floodplain administrator is still done by WWC on a contract basis. And the reason that that is the most fiscally responsible way to go is because we simply don't have enough work for a full-time engineer or floodplain manager. So it makes more sense to have it contracted. The other thing that I think works to the benefit of the county is we had one lawsuit with the subdivisions. We won that. And the person who was trying to sue the county also tried to sue WWC. So we had a joint two-prong protection of the county citizens because of that contract with WWC. So that worked out in our favor. Mail, we have from the Montana Department of Transportation. STIP information will be available. We usually get that at the regional meeting, which will take place next week. If anybody wants to read that, we do keep that in the commissioner's office. Next, we have from the Montana Business Assistance Connection. This is the quarterly report. This is for the period ending June 30, 2014 for the Broadwater County Revolving Loan Fund. And it includes loan activity detail, accrued interest analysis, and aging report. Also includes a statement of financial position for the fund for the first quarter. Aging report reflects no loan delinquencies at June 30, 2014. Please review and contact Mark Menke if you have questions.
Just getting smaller.
It is.
What is the stock course?
That's a business out in Crow Creek Valley. It's been part of the revolving loan fund now since we were brought on board about 6 years ago.
What do they do?
Train horses. Train riders also for horses. Kind of marry the two. It's good business. Good people.
I remembered that I knew what it was, but I couldn't recall.
Yeah. Okay, next we have payroll. And this is for pay date 7/31/2014 in the amount of $153,355.63.
Make a motion to approve payroll at 7/31, $153,355.62.
I'll second that. Payroll.
So we moved and seconded to pay payroll in the amount of $153,355.63. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, 5 minutes. This is something brought forward by Doug earlier this week, and he asked how to handle it. He isn't here today because he's at conference. And I asked him to have Dean write a note to us on this. I'll read the note first and then give you guys some background. It's been brought to our attention that the 2013 real estate taxes for the Fort Three Forks Motel have not been paid. We acquired this property in November 2013. Normally, the title company would have withheld the taxes due from closing proceeds, and then we would receive subsequent tax notices. Somehow, neither of these procedures occurred, and the taxes due have lapsed. Only recently have we been made aware of this delinquency. Therefore, we respectfully request that our enclosed check be considered payment in full for the taxes owed through May 31, 2014. We have a sound record of paying all of our taxes on time and in full, and hope that this will be considered when reviewing a aforementioned request. Sincerely, Dean Folkford. Dean has recently purchased the motel, and this is his tax notice. There's his check for it, and he is asking us to waive the penalties and interest. This is the purview of the commission, so if we choose to do that, due to this error that was not his fault, was not the county's fault either, that is certainly something we can do. It requires a vote to do so.
$56.52.28.
If we
Well,
vote for this, we would refund the interest and penalty.
Right. Which is roughly,
It's on.
where is it, where is it? Where's the interest?
I guess I don't see it.
Should be right here, but it should be.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that doesn't, it's just whether we're in agreement to waiver the penalty and interest.
I'm fine with that.
I am too. It was probably through the transaction, and he didn't know about it, is what I'm assuming.
The title company screwed up, I think.
Well, it could be, yeah, well, yeah.
That's what he writes in the letter, is exactly that.
Because they usually take care of those things at closing.
So I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
One second.
Okay, the motion is to waive the penalty and interest for the Fort Three Forks Motel, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I guess, does this go back for a couple of years then, or just for the?
Just 1 year.
Yeah, did it show it? Lock it.
Then it would have,
Yeah.
The penalty and interest is actually quite a bit. Maybe in the past it's been less than $100. When we've been impressed by this before. Is he on there? Okay. All right, so,
What's this, I got a question, listen here, what's this, Stock Horse LLC?
that's what I just asked about.
It's what?
the outfit out of Crow Creek that trains horses and riders.
Where?
I don't know where it's located.
We were just talking about this, not even 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's in the Crow Creek Valley. It's off the road going to Raidersburg. It is a horse training operation. It is a business that trains horses and trains riders for those horses. They've been in business for over 6 years. That's all I've got for you.
I never heard of that. Is it the people on the website, Owens?
No. That's not who it is. I think it's on the right, going up to Raidersburg, back towards the trees.
Mhm.
You can see a big barn back there.
The free internet? No, they're Dick's, that isn't really, they don't, they had a deal kinda like this outfit in Rocky Acres, or whatever they're called, they took in the old horses that were about to die and stuff, and But they don't do that anymore. But I don't know, has anybody else heard of a training horses in Ragersburg? I'm just curious, I mean, it's on here, so that's why I asked her.
Are you done with this?
Yeah.
All right, 10:45, Commissioner Franklin Salifka suggesting to pay county volunteer decision. Franklin, floor is yours.
Well, I stated last week what I thought should be taking place on that, and I guess TV's working for all of you now, isn't it? Last I know, the report I got that it was working. I believe give us individual mileage and $50 or something for the work he's done.
I guess I have a question, Madam Chair.
Sure.
If we do for one, how many more are gonna come forth and want to be paid?
This person never asked to be paid. I just
No.
suggested, I thought we should do it. Well, in cases like this, I mean, it saved the county, I don't know how much money, and I just thought it was a good thing to do. I'm the one that suggested it. He never asked for anything. What this is for the people out in the audience that don't know, been problems that going on for quite a while with TV, cutting out and all these things. Well, anyway, this one person was here and he said that he'd be interested in trying to help. So we finally got this guy, found out he's from Missoula, got out here. And this fellow's with him, and right away there's a combination heating air conditioning unit in it. And it wasn't working. In fact, the day, remember when I called you, Elaine, it was a real cool day. And that day, I think the temperature in there was 100. Anyway, when it get too warm in there and these electronics and computers just kick off, that's why you guys are losing those channels and different things. And so I got hold of Elaine and ordered the unit. He went up, put it in, got it working and everything. And I just thought he should be reimbursed for the mileage and a little something for doing it, I would think. And he didn't ask for anything. I just thought that's what we should do.
So what you're saying is, because we have someone who volunteered to help the county, and did, that you would like for this one individual to offer him mileage and money for the time he spent making the repairs and weeding, and to the sum
For that
of
reason, because it
$50.
probably saved the county several $100s to have this guy come back out from Missoula and everything. I just thought it was a good thing, and there's other times things like that. Sure, you don't, people don't volunteer, but if it takes a lot of their time and mileage, it's,
Madam Chairman, I would like to table this, do some more checking into it.
Okay, I think if you want to table it, that's fine. Some of the things that I think need to be put together during that time are some answers that I would need. And I think I'd like to keep the discussion going for just a few more minutes. We don't pay county volunteers for any other boards, so if we're suggesting doing it for this gentleman, who is a friend of yours, Franklin, I think we need to put together parameters.
Brandy's occasionally, yes,
I think we need to put together a budget, a fund, a funding mechanism, and parameters on what volunteers will be paid, for what, by how much. Typically, our boards.
Is it any different than the EMTs get paid for their services? And there's nobody's gonna say anything against that. Same with the firemen. They don't get paid, but their PERS is paid. And there's nobody in the county, no taxpayer is gonna deny them those services, or those benefits, I guess you'd say.
Both of those are handled by different departments. The hospital pays the EMTs. That is a separate district.
I know, they're still volunteers.
The fire district is a separate district. Those are separate political subdivisions that we do not have any authority over. So what we need to do is consider the TV district with other county boards and just decide, again, what the parameters are, what the funding mechanism would be, who is eligible for what, and do we require a W-9 from each and every one of the people who would be looking to now be county contractors / volunteers rather than just county volunteers. I also would like, we would have to have a resolution in order to start this, because now we're talking about creating a whole new fund, adding to the budget, and that resolution needs to have the MCA that says it is okay to offer volunteers this money.
There's a
because
TV budget as far as that part goes.
there's a budget for all of our different boards, but that budget does not include payment for volunteers. That needs to be established, it needs to be in writing, it needs to have a paper trail, and it needs to have parameters. So, in the interest of that, would you like to table this for 2 weeks till the 18th and bring those together to the board, Franklin?
I'm not saying more, I told what it was last week. I kind of refreshed some people here, some of them.
Any public comment? Cheryl?
Could you pay this person mileage and just send a really nice letter signed by all the board members? Saying how much they appreciate his effort and time?
I think a card would be an absolutely excellent idea. We do that quite a bit for our board members. As far as a board, some boards offer mileage, some don't. If that is in the specifics for the TV district, then I think we are within the boundary to be able to do that. If it isn't, then we need to establish it before we can do that. There needs to be transparency, honesty, a paper trail. This isn't something we can just pull out of our hat and decide to do it. There are huge consequences to paying one volunteer. If you pay one volunteer and make it up as we go along, every other volunteer for the county is now going to be saying or expecting or within their rights to expect the same payment. That would quickly cut into a budget that we haven't seen before to any extreme. So, any other questions or comment on this issue?
I have one.
John?
What, Mr. Slifka, what is the amount that this man is asking for mileage and for his services?
He didn't ask for anything. I suggested that we should take care of it for him.
Oh, okay, so it's, all right.
Yeah, he didn't ask for anything.
And how long?
But it saved the county a lot of money.
Quite obvious. And does it work now? Does the television work now?
That's the last report. I haven't had any more complaints.
Ditto, that's it. You gotta consider it.
Tim, is that a hand up?
Yes, ma'am. Tim Ravendahl. Madam Chair, understanding that this is the TV board, does the TV board have a set of bylaws and/or policy that they go by? And if so, do we have that available to verify whether we can compensate for expenses or not? And if not, why not? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we do have parameters for the TV board. It is not with us. Those are set in statute, and we'll have to review those to see if there's anything allowed for mileage, but we've never paid it before. So that would be one of those things that we
We
need
pay
to.
mileage for this fellow when he comes from Missoula. We've been paying mileage every time he comes out.
Franklin?
Not a volunteer.
He
Well, he
is
isn't a volunteer. I mean, he
Franklin.
gets paid for everything. But there's a mileage that he pays. I don't care. I could care less what you want to do.
Franklin,
I just put it out there, and
if
if
you
you want
would
to make a
stop,
big issue of it, go for it.
if you would stop interrupting, you might actually understand a little bit more
Oh,
what we're doing here. Charlie is a contractor. We contract
That's what I
with
just said.
him, and therefore we pay his mileage and his time. We do not have a W-9 from this other gentleman. He is not a contractor, he is a volunteer. He came here and volunteered to help out. If we start now arbitrarily offering to pay our volunteers, we are opening a huge can of worms. It has been discussed that this be tabled, but there has to be a reason to readdress this. And that means a resolution, a budget, and parameters set. This is your idea. It is your homework to do if you want to go ahead and follow this through. This is a time and place for discussing things. We discuss in front of the public and then come to the best decision possible. But we have to have that engagement to have the discussion. Bob?
Bob Brastrup, just two comments, I guess. One, regarding the volunteer firemen, that PERS or the stuff that's paid in is set by state law. Number two, a request like this, should that not originate with the board? If I was on a board and somebody started dictating how I was supposed to be doing this stuff, I'd be a little upset. So I think a request like this, with all due respect, should originate with the board.
Thank you.
This is the board.
This is the board.
Yes, but this is, Bob is absolutely correct. There should have been a TV board meeting requested, there wasn't. This proposal, along with all the parameters and all the pieces, should have been presented to the board at that time. That request should have been asked by the commission to be brought forward into a public meeting. So regardless of the fact that we are the board, this is not, and we have not had a TV board meeting on this subject. So yes, that is 100% correct. So is this subject tabled for 2 weeks, or what say you, Franklin? This is your plan, your idea. Commissioner Solifka,
I
what say
stated
you,
what I
please?
said last week, and I stated a little bit now. I have not anymore. That's it. I am,
That's the
To
reason I
argue with
withdraw
it
my
all.
suggestion then, because this isn't my project, so
Okay,
I think it'd be improper for me to do that.
we don't have to have a vote because this is a suggestion of Commissioner Solifka's to change current practice, so we don't have to have a vote. We'll just drop it then.
Then fine.
All right, I agree. I think that this is a tremendously bad idea, especially in light of what happened with the reserve deputies, which are volunteers as well. The last thing we want to do is start opening a can of worms with paying more county volunteers. So,
I think we should send a card.
sure, we can do
Signed
that.
by all three.
Franklin, would you like to bring forth a card for the commission to sign? No? All right,
I'm not doing
Elaine,
anything
you and I
on
will
that.
go ahead
I
and
stated
send the
what I
card.
wanted, that was it. You can do whatever you like to do, like you usually do, so I can care less.
Okay, it is almost 11 o'clock, so we will go ahead and move forward. This is Flynn Lane, Dry Creek Road, FEMA Flood Mitigation Project Intent Letter Decision. This was presented to us last week by Mike Conkey. And all we need to do, this is not anything more than advising DES that we are interested in flood mitigation for Flynn Lane and Dry Creek Road. With this being signed, they will come and conduct a tour. That will be with DES, with road, and then they will put together a report and let us decide from there. So we do need a vote to sign the letter of, or the notice of intent with DES.
Awesome.
Yeah, we already agreed on last week.
Franklin, it needed to be put on the agenda. Can we get a second?
Well, that's why I say, yes, a second, because we already agreed on it.
We have to put a vote on file, Franklin. This is
I'll put it on
stuff we've
file,
been doing
whatever
for
your law
over a
already
year and
says.
a half. This isn't brain surgery, Franklin. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the notice of intent for Flynn Lane and Dry Creek Road Flood Mitigation Project. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, well, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. We do have, let's see, that's 11:15. Our 11:45 is canceled, just to let you know, by the way. Julie is on vacation, and I'm going to wait for the 11:15, or excuse me, the 11 o'clock, or excuse me, the 11:15 till we get there. So, is there anything further from the board?
I don't think Joan had anything.
Yes, Joan?
I was wondering, is it a law or what on these emails? Does a commissioner have to have a computer?
Absolutely, yes, in order to do
Is
this
it a
job.
law?
It is not a law. The law states that anyone who is elected need only show up for work 1 day per month. That is the law. In order to do the job that the citizens hire us to do, there's certain tools we need, just like anybody else. One is a computer, a working knowledge of computers like email, the ability to understand Word, to understand Excel. Those are absolutely required to do the job. By law, you don't have to, but by moral standards, you do have to. Otherwise, you are letting down every single citizen who's paying your salaries and your benefits.
In other words, if Franklin don't have a computer, then you should mail.
Franklin does
I-
have
I- I
a
get-
computer.
I get
Franklin
everything.
opted to purchase a computer on the commission budget last year. He also has the full working programs for Word, Outlook, and Excel. So he has all that, and no, we're not gonna waste money mailing to him when email is the accepted standard of communication.
And you can receive it immediately.
Mm-hmm. No, the time and expense of mailing everything, it's ridiculous.
Most of the time I get the emails, Joan. I didn't get this one that I was talking about a while ago, but,
Okay.
How about Commissioner's Community Update? Franklin, what'd you do this week?
I went to the salary compensation meeting, and then Debbie had called me and got a kind of an update on where all the calls I've been getting on the mosquitoes. And I just jotted down a couple of things on what she told me, that apparently it was spraying or fogging last week. Got a bunch of the area done already, I guess, and there was gonna aerial spray last night, but some wind come up, so they canceled it. They're gonna do it tonight if there's no wind.
All right. Elaine?
I was on the same ones, commission meetings, budget meeting, salary commission. And most of the salary commission was there, working through that the increase will be, or if.
I was at the same ones, as well as Board of Crime Control and Agency on Aging. And on the mosquito, we will have an update Wednesday morning. We may have the Erica Morris and Jim Woy with Anderson Zermillion postponed. Jim's mother passed away this weekend, so we may be postponing that. If so, we'll move mosquito into the 10 o'clock. Otherwise, we'll have the mosquito update along with maps here for you to see by 10:30, 10:45 or so. So, Tim, one more thing before we move on to Tim. The 11th, we will not have a meeting next Monday. Both Elaine and I will be out of town for family health issues, and I will be at the conference for those issues with Board of Crime Control, stepping in for the ED. So,
I can, yeah, stay.
yes, and good luck with the travel. Luckily, there'll be no ice on the roads.
No.
Tim?
Madam Chair, Tim Ramdell, I just would like to know, I guess, if, I attended the compensation board meeting, and I was just wondering, were all the members of that board present, and if not, who was not in attendance?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mayor,
The
Mary
mayor.
Alice Upton.
Other than the mayor, everybody was there?
I believe so,
I think so.
yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
The county compensation board is made up of citizens and elected officials. And by statute, its job is to set the salaries for elected officials. Unlike Congress, we can't just vote ourselves a raise, so that is done through a board that is made up of, again, private citizens and elected officials. They are an advisory board, so they put forth a suggestion. That suggestion is then brought to the county commissioners to act on, yay or nay. So that will be coming forth here in a couple of weeks, I would imagine.
I missed Rocky Mountain Development because we went so long with the compensation board. By the time we got out of here and knowing what the construction was,
Oh,
I couldn't make it in time.
yeah,
So for that, I apologize, but,
yeah, it was a long meeting.
yeah. But it was a good meeting.
It was good discussion, debate back and forth. Some agreed, some didn't, some had other ideas, some didn't. It was a very good debate. So, time well spent. All right.
And when you go to Helena now, you need an extra hour almost.
You do, yeah.
But it's gonna be nice when it's done.
Oh, yes, it will. The, I was just going to restate that we had one appointment canceled. Don't need to do that. How about this? This is managerial. Let's go ahead and, since times are subject to change, and this is again, really just our job, advertise DES coordinator position. We have the job description that Mike provided to each of us last week. We do need to advertise to fill this position. He was an interim, temporary DES coordinator and was gracious enough to put together a job description for us based on what he does. This is little changed from the previous job description, and this, of course, is common practice in many businesses, government and private. So did you guys want to add any changes, increases, decreases?
I'm fine with it.
Franklin, anything?
No, I thought it was pretty good what I said, went through on it.
Okay, the only thing missing is the salary. I would suggest that we stick with the same salary as we are paying Mike and advertise it that way.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go ahead and advertise for 3 weeks. Is that agreeable to you guys?
I'm fine with that.
Franklin?
When is it gonna start?
I would hope that it can start this afternoon.
Advertise it.
Yep. Any input? Okay, we will go ahead and get that done. Tim, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Tim Ravendall. Has the county considered contracting the DES services rather than an employee?
Actually, no. This is actually the way it's done throughout the county, or excuse me, throughout the state. The funding is 50-50 share. The state pays 50% through DES, and then the county pays the other 50%. This is not something that one would contract because it would be tremendously more expensive for the citizens. And a DES coordinator is needed to be intimately involved with the county. So you wouldn't want somebody that was contract. And again, it's just not done throughout Montana. Every county does it the same way we're doing it. Any other questions? All right. All right, that decision is made.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we probably should make a motion.
I'll make a motion for you to advertise the DES position.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to start the advertising process for the DES coordinator, setting a salary range, starting with what we are paying today. and advertising for 3 weeks. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, and just for information's sake, there will be a hiring panel. Interviews are conducted closed door because the rights of the individuals far outweigh the rights of the public to know. And we do not release who it is that applies for these positions. That is also private information. Oftentimes, we have people who put on their applications, I do not want my previous boss to know. We honor that for them per the Montana Constitution. So we will get that done and started today. And I'm going to wait until 11:30 for the TV district discussion on Channel 6.
Julie's still on vacation.
And yes, Julie is on vacation, so she will not be here to talk about that contract, that agreement. And I'll see if we have anything from Anderson's or Million on the Wednesday meeting.
There's no meeting on November
11.
11th.
Jim is busy the week of the 18th, so she is gonna see if he is available this Wednesday still. So I'll let you guys know either way via email as soon as I have an answer, and I'll check again before we're done today, just in case she's able to get a hold of him.
No, and I need to leave Wednesday, but I do want to hear that, so I'm willing to stay until closer to noon before I take off.
Okay. And what we could do too is get the mosquito update at 9 if you wanted, so that you're here for that, and then we could just, we wouldn't really have much with the budget, because I don't think we'll have everything plugged in. We could revisit that on the 20th.
Okay?
Okay. That'd be agreeable to you, Franklin?
Okay, so now we're gonna be at 9 on Wednesday?
It depends. And that's what we're gonna email about. We have a 10 o'clock with Erica Morris and Jim Moy,
Yeah. I've got time.
and Jim didn't know if he could make it on Wednesday.
His mom died.
That's what we were just talking
Yeah.
about. He is not available in 2 weeks, the 18th or the 20th. He's not available that week. That puts it off by 3 weeks. So she's gonna see if he's available on Wednesday. If he is, we'll just keep the agenda as it is, but we'll move mosquito to 9. If he is not available, we'll move mosquito to 10. Any questions on that?
But you'll let us know.
Yes, I will let you know via email if I don't find out by the end of today's meeting. Yes, Trudy?
Madam Chair, Trudy Southwood, would you be mailing out or sending out a revised agenda when you have those dates confirmed and times for Wednesday?
No, we wouldn't be doing, if it's confirmed for this Wednesday, it won't be a revised agenda,
You'll be adding the
unless we
mosquito
start at
bill.
9, and then it would be.
That's my question.
If they change to the 18th and 20th, then, or the week after, then it would just be a regular agenda fee, and we'll just cancel that appointment.
So if they're gonna stay on for 10, and the mosquito is at 9, are you gonna send anything out?
Yeah, a revised agenda would be
Would
sent
you
out
please
just like
make sure
before.
Broadwater Reporter is on your revised agenda list, because we did not get the revised agenda for today.
No, nobody did, who wasn't on the listserv that I have. Tammy was on vacation last week, and I don't know what her listserv is. I would imagine you're on that, and so it didn't get sent to you.
Right, I didn't get the revised one, but I get the.
As long as Tammy's here, you'll get it. Otherwise, instead of chancing missing somebody, I just do to the department heads and follow the law, and that way I can't be accused of playing favorites. So,
So if I send you an email specifically asking for one, would I be able to get one? on
absolutely,
Monday?
but if Tammy's here, you don't need to do that because you're on her listserv. I just don't have a copy of what her listserv is, and Debbie was working on the budget, so I didn't have
But
to
it
turn
went
to
out on Sunday, didn't it? The revised agenda?
No, it went out actually Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like we have a COS. But again, just in case there's public comment, I think we should wait on the TV channel 6 until 11:30. That's okay with you guys?
Sharon? When are you available to go through these?
Whenever,
Okay.
just give me a call.
I'm leaving for Salt Lake Wednesday, so
Okay.
it'll have to be tomorrow sometime, but I've got doctor's appointments myself, so I'll have to figure out how to get it in there somehow,
That's cool.
all right?
Okay, we have one here that probably should not be included. Val?
Mhm.
There you go. Oh, and before you start those, we do need signature on these two. Oh, these three.
Did you see the good at Mark Ann, right? That used to look at makeup?
He was here for the book.
No,
No.
no, no.
Okay.
Mark Ann had MS and was in a wheelchair. She worked there for years.
Oh, I don't think I ever knew her, but no, I hadn't seen that. That's too bad.
Nice lady.
Oh. It's hard when you lose somebody that's, you know, a good person.
Mhm.
The clipped claims are 2014 and 10. We'd like those kept separately from 2015.
Yeah, well, see here, June, yes. Pretty soon we won't have that.
That's right. Guess while we're waiting, for 11:30, we got a preliminary, review done of the, project for the shower facility meeting room and the, storage facility for search and rescue and weed and mosquito and, EMTs, and they both came in slightly less than
Good.
Sean's estimates. So, yeah, that sure helps. He had said plus or minus 25%, but it looks like it's minus a couple of percentages.
Do we know, are we right on schedule then for getting this stuff downstairs?
Did you
Computer stuff?
For the clerk recorder's office?
Mhm.
Yes. Do you know where that's at specifically, Ann?
If not, I think that possibly have gotten new computers, I'm not sure what's going on yet with. Email and all that other system, something needs to be done.
Franklin, you just need to sign by Elaine's if you choose to. We just need one commissioner's signature, but it is the chairman's job to initial. So you just need to sign up here if you want to.
No, but that's
Oh,
by
actually-
my name.
We've already reviewed
Oh,
these.
isn't that
I can put them
before?
over here.
Where these sheep and goats go to? Winston? This is Winston? On the weed units?
Turn to the front page, there's something there.
NWT. I don't know, NWT Ram.
Does it say something about Reed Point there, or am I just thinking?
I thought it was, mixed use and lands, Reed Point, Montana.
Yeah.
Oh, to Winston, Montana. Christ, you know, I think we should have, weed supervisor come to a meeting and let us know what this here is, and so give us an update on things. So should we get that on the agenda then for a later date?
Sure. I will coordinate with Scott, make sure it's a time that works with him with spraying.
supposed to be somebody else's. 14,000.
No, this whole pile is trying to go.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have an update on the project in Deep Creek Canyon? Those
No.
landowners that were concerned about that expansion at the Northport Bridge?
No, other than we have been working with the gentleman who has voiced concerns. He has been working with Morrison Merrily hand in hand, and Jerry at Morrison Merrily has volunteered to come to a commissioner meeting if he chooses. He has not put that forth yet.
Okay, thank you.
So Franklin, did you go with Harold and purchase that equipment from Home Depot for the TV tower?
The air conditioner.
I did it by phone.
And did
And
you
then
go?
when it got in, they notified me that it was in. Well, first one, they said the wrong one. But when it was in, I just, Harold said, just let him know when we got in. And I did, and I called them that he would be picking it up.
And did you pay for it?
I did.
Okay, we just need a receipt that you
It's
paid
on
for
there.
it. I don't see that, oh, sold to, okay.
That should take care of the problem.
Yeah. He suggested there should be another ventilation thing in there, but that's all there was, just that unit. And it was working. And you know, the camera, it was in the unit, it was real cool day, and I believe that it was up there 100 degrees inside.
Too much.
Yeah. And you know more how these computers and all that stuff acts in the heat.
The same way I do when it gets hot. I wilt.
Me too, me too.
I'm gonna wait for a minute till Franklin's done before I pick up these other ones, so I don't get mixed up.
All right,
I got
we'll be
this
starting the
separate.
TV here in
Yeah.
just a second, too.
I think there's a yellow sticky in there.
Yeah, it says 14 on it.
Isn't there a yellow sticky?
Yeah, so that had 2014 on it,
Mhm.
14. That should be right in there.
There we are.
All right, are you guys ready to go to our next appointments?
Yep.
Okay. It is TV District Meeting, Channel 6 Setup Decision. This was handed out last meeting, and this contract was
This
sent
was
to
that
Charlie.
item started.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
No, it's all right, I just don't want to be talking if there's other talking, so that we're all on the same page. This is a contract that was sent out, not necessarily for us to sign, and I forwarded it to Charlie. He said, that's fine, you just need to keep it on file. So just sharing
So
that
do we
piece of
need to
mail.
sign
No, I don't believe so, it's just something for our files.
it? After that Channel 6 business.
So the Channel 6 business, to recap, the PBS is working. We have 5 PBS channels. 49.1 is Montana PBS and HD. 49.2 is PBS Kids. 49.3 is PBS Create. 49.4 is PBS World. and 49.5 is the Montana legislature. These were running on analog, because they haven't been switched over. He switched them over and they have been running fine, he said, ever since. People will need to rescan their TV sets or converter boxes to get these new channels up from, before. The channel that was off because of the cooling fan that's been addressed was 10.1, which is the CW from Helena. This, even though it was only operating at half, people should still be able to receive it. All other channels are working perfectly. The reason with the CW is that comes out of Helena. It's not one of the Butte channels that go through that tower. So then a previous email readdresses that KTVM. And this is the station out of Butte that repeats ABC and Fox. John Mazzell, who was the contractor before you and I started, did not do the FCC license appropriately. Charlie was trying to work with a TV station in Butte to see if we could actually piggyback with them so that there'd be no changes. They said no. So we have two options. We could drop the CW altogether and replace it with ABC and Fox, which means people are losing one channel. Or we can take channel 6 off the air, install an encoder, and put 2 channels on one translator. He would take KTVH and KMTF and put them both on the channel 4 translator. It's quite easy to do, and since both stations only broadcast a single service, nothing would be lost to the viewers. Encoder has a list price of $11,325 and he can discount that to $9,900 plus shipping. He would also need to add an ASI input card and 2 DTV receivers, which would be an additional $500. This way, citizens would get ABC, Fox, and CW, as well as all the other channels. So he was wondering what we would like to do. There is money in the budget. People do pay into the TV district.
Is there enough money in the budget to cover this?
Yes. That's a very strong budget. It has more than enough to cover this. My thinking is, as people have opted to create the district, that we should try and maximize the channels that they get, especially since they've already paid the money and it's sitting in Broadwater County. It can't be used for anything but the TV district. Why not maximize their services?
I would agree with that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
All right, so are we in agreement then to tell Charlie that we want to go ahead and go with the encoder option?
Yep.
Okay, and I'd
Now,
like
this is
that.
because they went from analog to digital, is that why this changed? Or did I miss some
No.
of that?
No,
Or they just weren't getting this?
no, it's 2 different things, Franklin. The analog to digital was the discussion about PBS. We have 5 PBS channels. The reason there was trouble with the PBS is because they haven't been switched over. Now we're good to go on PBS, and that's been from a couple months ago, and that was forwarded to everybody to read. This situation with Channel 6 is due to John Mazzell, who used to be our contractor. I don't know when he started, but it was before Elaine and I. He didn't do the process correctly for Channel 6, so now we need to address that fix. How do we fix it? A, we get rid of the CW and put it on that channel, or B, we get the encoder so that we can have all 3. So what I would like is a motion so that it is a part of the record and it is official, and I can share that with Charlie. We don't have any messes or changes of mind later.
So moved.
I'll second.
So we move in seconded to